Hey guys, Mike here for Inside the Lacrosse Helmet. This video is going to be on sliding and slide recognition. So here's the deal. I'm a goalie and one of my biggest frustrations is when I've got a defender that doesn't know when to slide. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't do it all the time, but it's really frustrating, and I know it's sometimes the reason is because the coach can't effectively communicate it. Other times is because the player can't effectively visualize it and they don't know when to slide, and even if they can recognize it, maybe they slide too late. In addition to all this, if a goalie is the only guy on the field who recognizes when a slide is going to come and your defenders rely on the goalie calling slide, you're going to be worse off, because here's what's going to happen. The goalie recognizes the slide, then the goalie calls slide, then the defender has to hear him say slide, then the defender has to recognize what that means, and then he finally slides. Those 5 steps, however short they might seem, still take up a finite amount of time. So with that, of course, if the sooner the defender can go just by simply recognizing it and calling slide, the better off your entire team is going to be. So that's why we're here. We're going to put you inside the Lax helmet for the first time, see how it works out, and teach you a little bit about slide recognition. Let's say, for the sake of argument, that the particular slide package your team is running today is from the crease, with the backside defender being the second slide. So the man on the right side of the field has the ball, and you're standing above the crease waiting to slide. Okay, let's put you in the helmet. Now, did you see all that? Let's take another look at it and stress some certain points. Okay, the defender went in for a push. Look at the guy on offense. His hips are dropping, and his body is at an angle to the right. It looks as though he's about to change direction, or he'd simply fall over if he were to continue upfield. Now look at the defender. His inside foot is downfield, and he's overextended himself with the push. Now the offender has dropped his hips significantly. Lowering your center of gravity is a great way to change direction, as it increases the friction you'll have with the ground as you accelerate out of the turn. This is something that you defenders should recognize and offenders exploit. Now look at the defender. He is still traveling upfield with his feet spread wide, while the offender is already at the turning point of his change of direction. The defender still needs to plant his foot in order to change direction. This is when we should be seriously considering sliding. Now it should be blatantly obvious to slide. While the defender is just about to make his first step after the climax of his turn, the offender has already made 2 steps towards the goal. Pay attention to body language. The offender is already closest to the goal, and his back is to the defender. You should be thinking slide, calling slide, and already in your second step as well. Alright, now let's take one last look at it from inside the helmet. Slide. Okay, now take a look at this one. Ouch, right? Let's break it down. Okay, coming in from the right wing, the defender is set up in a good stance. Though his inside foot isn't upfield, he's not giving the offender any room to beat him topside. Now look at the offender. All he's done so far is start his dodge to the defender's right. There's no need for you to worry about sliding yet. So there's 2 things we should recognize here. First off, the defender put his stick downfield, allowing for an opening for the offender upfield. Why? Well, maybe they were a little too high still, and letting the offender walk right in would have been way too obvious of a mistake. Second, as the hot slide, we can see that the offender is planting his foot and maybe starting to change direction. This happened only 2 steps after he started his dodge. Again, look at how his hips dropped a little bit. Now, since the defender dropped his stick below the offender and allowed that open lane up top, the offender got a step on him. Check out the body language. The defender's back is completely turned to the offender, and he needs to bring his back foot up before he can even change direction. The offender is also now headed upfield where he can get a better angle on the goal. You should be thinking slide, calling slide, and taking your second step towards him. Okay, now watch the offender's hands. See how he dropped his top hand? He only needed 1 step away from the defender in order to be ready to shoot. You've got to be there right now. This is why we need to slide early and slide hard. Now look at the defender. His back is still to the offender. He's out of the play. The defender finally catches up and gets a check-in when the offender already got his shot off. These are the type of situations that we need to recognize early so we can slide early. Okay, let's take one last look. Slide. So thanks for hanging out, guys. Hopefully that helped. It really does help if you as a team go and do that exact same thing. Take your footage and stop it, slow it down, see when a guy should recognize it. Really do that, because this is what I'm not only trying to teach you certain aspects, but I want to teach you the style of learning. And hopefully your team can get a little better. Hopefully everybody can. Thanks a lot. This is Mike with Inside the Lax Helmet.